I wanted to make another video that I think is important for me to talk about because I don't know any of the circumstances of all the details. And I was thinking about, this is a conversation about Nick Carrera and Robert Carrera. And I was thinking, many years ago I went to, when I think I was 18. I don't think I had a car yet. I was either 19 years old or 18. Could have been 20. I don't think I had an apartment yet. I could have. But I was 18 or 19 years old. And I recall me, Richard, Jeremy, and Nick went to Nick Carrera's mother's house, who was married to a white blonde-haired guy. I don't know if Nick's mother, biological, he said that was his mother. His mother, I don't know if his mother was a transgender or not. I don't know that. It could be. I don't think she was, but she might be. And I recall that, I spent I think we had a sleepover, had pizza, and a bunch of games playing in the living room when we were very young. Anyway, and they lived in a two-story house, but they moved when I was 18 or 19 and been living there a couple of years in what is it, Stonebriar? Is it Stonebriar Mall or something like that? I think it's far, not even in Frisco. It's I think it's either in Frisco or past Frisco. And I think it was Stonebriar Mall, but it was where all the white people go. So when we get there, this house is $1 million. You easily, it has its own movie theater. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck his stepdad did, but Nick's mother had two more kids, and they were half white, half Mexican, and they were living in that house, and they had their own separate rooms. And he goes, yeah, there's a room over there and a room over there, and I think they knew about the rapes that happened with Miguel. Anyway, we talk in the kitchen, all of us, for a few minutes. And this is when I talk about there's a lot of tension between me, Nick, and Jeremy. By this point in life, I remember Richard saying, I got a shit, and I knew how Richard's digestive system works and what I think they were using the electronic devices on him too. But something bad was happening. I don't know what the fuck, but I remember our friendship and all was dissolved pretty much at that point. I knew nothing good was going to be coming from the situation because this is when I had already separated from Michael, and this is the whole homosexual shit that they had toward all one another. It was just them gay, and that's all it was. That's all it was. I knew it was flat. We know all each other for so well that it was done. And anyway, we start kind of hanging out, and it's basically them three versus me. And it was so fucked up because I had been so, I fucking lived at Richard's house. I slept in the same fucking bed, went paintballing, out to eat, bowling every fucking weekend, was fucking playing video games, spend the night boxing, fucking camping with Jeremy, it was every single day. Sometimes I stay a whole week at fucking Richard's and I even go home sometimes. And it was wild. So when I get there, they're talking, and I left in my cheap little blue car. I drove my car there, and it was this blue, broken down, cheapest car you could ever imagine. This sort of navy blue car, Plymouth Laser, and it was in this fucking multi-million-dollar neighborhood. Okay, I'm at the fucking street, and the fucking sidewalks are fucking white. Okay, this is fucking royalty, fucking rich people. And I have a car that looks like it literally came from the worst of junkyards in the city of Dallas. Not just a junkyard, but the worst junkyard you can imagine. Shit car, had fucking bent metal. It was you ever seen the car Jim Carrey when he's driving that car when he goes to the club, and that broken down cheap shit ass car? It was like that. It was the equivalent of that. And in the movie The Mask, So I know I go there, get in my car, and I leave. And there isn't a bitterness, but I just could tell that they wanted a separation. That this was never the same again. And I thought Richard was straight. I didn't know Nick, Richard, and Jeremy were gay. And that's which even is even a more insult to me personally, because I didn't discriminate people at that time, and for any reason I knew anybody that was gay to then just do that because that was why. That was very violating to me because that's prejudice on that end, not on mine. So I knew exactly, that this was not going to be good. But I sort of just played off. They know that I'm being stranded out because I have a shitty mother and fucking worthless family. So, just go let me die somewhere. It's kind of like that sort of vibe from Richard. And Nick just plays along. I know exactly the situation. I have no idea. This is what I'm leading to with this. I don't have no idea if Nick Herrera's family has anything to do with my mom's biological father of Marco and his twin. I have no fucking idea, but I have any suspicions that if it's connected to something like that over there. Let me tell you one of the reasons why. This is very suspicious to me. This is one of the very suspicious things. When I was in a relationship with Raquel, this is a black girl, we lived together in the same house for a little while, and she left. Right? She took a couple of hits off of fucking dope, and one day, and I said, I'm not taking you down with me. You got to leave. At that time, there was drugs coming into the house, starting to come into the house again, because they stopped when she showed up. But Michael wanted to feed her drugs, and we were living sort of this secret life. We can't tell anybody we're having sex or whatever. And she wanted to do drugs, and then she took a couple of hits off drugs. And I was mad. I was like, I'm not going to take you down with me. You're not going to. This is a bad place. You don't understand this world. These are bad people. You cannot handle this world. You need to go somewhere safe, away from these drugs. So she left. So when she left, there was like $150 that she got real pouty and left $150 like on the bed. Like, here's your money. Here's your whatever. And there was like $40 worth of quarters and coins. Like $40 worth of quarters and coins she set on the bed. The bed we always had sex on. And I told her, I said, take all your money with you. You'll need it. Just take it all with you. Don't worry about it. Just take the money all with you. You'll need it when you get out there. Trust me. And we were in an argument, in a feud. And this is whenever I was like, I can't, because I'm going down the rat hole too. I'm going down this bad path myself. I got to clean up this drug shit. I don't want to be around these people anymore. I can't do this. This is too bad. This is really bad. So she left. She got the coins and all this money. And a very thing weird is within 6 months, less than 6 months, I have to move out at 18 years old. When was it? 18 years old? No, I think it was when my dad dies. When my dad dies, I don't know if I went to Nick's house or I was 20 years old and my dad dies. And I remember when I left Nick's dad's house, who let me stay at his house for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. He was a pastor. His wife is a transgender. His wife Nick Herrera used to tell me she used to be a gang leader. She used to gang bang, like jack cars and beat people up like a gang member, like a real life gang member. She was a gang leader, and that person fits the persona. I didn't know this transgender is. I know exactly to identify what that individual is, the history of that. So, of how to profile those types of characters. I don't ever say anything. Didn't have very deep communications with this individual. Just saw him off and on. And I recall being there, and I said, "Well, told them that I was gonna leave." And I noticed they did the same exact thing, and they put like $100 of the quarter or some shit. And I could tell this person didn't really thought that I was sort of leaving and like a disrespect. I don't know. This person seemed to be turning the things on me, and I didn't understand why. They just didn't want to get involved and say anything, right? Because they do the whole church shit. And so I just pick up all these coins, and I thought, that's weird. Why would you do the same thing I did to Raquel? And I don't know if there was hidden cameras. I don't know if anybody had a discussion. It just seemed very weird because it didn't feel comfortable. You don't understand what if I find out that Nick Herrera's family has something to do with my mom's Marco's biological dad, like it was some guy that came from over there that went and fucking raped my mother and they wanted to take the money. I can tell you with the bullet, arm-piercing bullet, that's the fucking transgender that parasitically went after my mother, and it was targeted with evil and hate. You don't understand the behavior and things that they're doing to me is because my mother is as stupid as a fucking horse's ass, and they know how to get away with this because that is transgender. You don't understand a goddamn fuck. That's why I'm continuously being trained as a kid, and they're poisoning me because they know they have to get their bitch to put her where they want to place her. Then use the twins, and I think it's important because they may not be, but I thought it was worth me having a conversation about because I don't know if that's true. Now, I recently went over to talk to Robert Carrera, who, I don't think I've ever heard more shit talking about my dead sister and my biological father and how disgusting that was. And I'm sitting there just tolerating it, and I just, okay, just do a little prayer and I'll leave. And I do a little prayer and left. But I honestly, in my opinion, I think he may have some sort of mental issues. I think he got too cooped up in that church shit. And I think he did better than a lot of people, in my opinion, but he goes strictly to not healthy. That it in the world that we live in, and how you still want to take things from people, and how to take advantage of it for your own benefits, that still leads to your benefits by still being able to take it away from people, is by using that. And that's what, and he takes it to extreme levels. And the foul mouth talking shit about my dad, and goes, and that guy over there, he's a Coast Guard too. My son Jacob, he was in the Air Force now too. And my daughter, she's in the service for 8 years. Now, I'm not happy because they went to the service. I'm happy because they're Christians. And so it's all, I could tell, I know this is a chess match, mental chess match, how stupid and how I can control you in obedience to what I want to apply. And I think it's important for me to talk about because my mother, whatever the psychologists are doing, I do feel a little bit empathy for Robert Carrera, because I think that I think if anybody messed his head up in any kind of way, it was because he's with that transgender wife. I don't know what, he's just cooped up, I think, in that shit. He knows, every time that I've talked to him, he knows and is very extremely detailed about my mother, about Julian, and he was bringing this up in the conversation about Julian being a security guard. Julian's identical twin, who's a security guard, he was talking like he wants ownership, and he's taking ownership of my mother's kids, and he wants to step over me. That's the entire conversation was when I was talking to him. Entirely. And remember, when I lived with him when I was like 20 years old after my dad died, he said something that his mother had a mental problem, so it was forgetting a lot of shit. And if I find out that it was a man that was connected over there, poison, that's fucking goddamn why. You have no idea the lethal of people that are coming after my mother at degrees that are the most vengeful, parasitical ways you can imagine. And the thing is, I talked to Nick when I was about 31 years old one day when I came back from Alaska. I talked to him at his dad's house, and he let me talk to him in the kitchen, and he got a piece of mail paper, and he was doing this, like it was on the table, and he goes, like I'm cutting you off, and he has a piece of mail, and it was unusual for him to even want to talk to me at all. It makes me think if he knew anything about it. I think it's important to be able to discuss this over my mother's well-being and mental state. Takes control, because my biological father Hector being scored like a worthless piece of shit.